I always had a side hustle because I was a single mom. And some people like the stability of just like doing the same thing.
You've got to be born and bred with a certain resilience and determination.
Yeah. All I knew was like we were having an emergency surgery in London. I was like, there is no way I can run a business. I'm not coming back. You know, the game's over.
The best success stories come from those people who have been through the darkest, most horrific times.
I understand now in my late 30s how a lot of my decisions later in life were very much linked to that time, you know, when I was a kid and I was, you know, the relationship I had with my mum and how it was. He said to me, like, I'm going to do everything to ruin your life.
Wow.
And he kept the promise.
It's so important to remember that actually if you do come across people who treat you in a certain way or behave in a certain way, or you witness them doing something in a certain way, that they might just be a bad person, and you have to just accept that.
Oh my God, this is confusing. I don't understand. It is making me like, I feel like being with them hurts me so much, but leaving them is impossible. Like you need it, and it's almost as strong as like drug addiction. And they feed off you. No, we need to educate people more and more about like those toxic traits so that you can leave before it's too late.
Welcome, Monika.
Well, hello everyone. Hi.
Hello everyone.
Hi,
how are you? You okay?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm so good. Welcome to the podcast. I'm very happy to have you here. I've been wanting to have you on here since I started the podcast, and I was chatting to Lauren, probably, who's here behind the scenes, probably about a month or two ago now. Was it probably about 2 months ago, Lauren? And I was like, we need to get Monika on the podcast because I know from what I've spoken to you about previously, I've heard some kind of little bits about your life. Not much, but little bits about some things you've been through, which I'm not going to say now. I'm going to let you speak about them. But I know that you've got a lot of stuff in you that is going to be very inspirational to a lot of people. So
let's see.
Yeah. Before I continue, do you want to introduce yourself a little bit and let our listeners and viewers know a bit more about who you are and what you do and where you're from?
Yeah, so my name is Monika. I originally come from Poland, but I've been here in Bedford for about 7.5 years, and it's like home, and it feels like home, and it's I think we're going to stay here for longer. And I'm a founder of Veggie Crush, which is the only crush you need, and it's a healthy meal prep and catering company.
Amazing. And how did you get into that role of life? How did you get into Veggie Crush? How did you get into business? Where did that all come from?
I mean, the story started in lockdown, and a lot of people were talking about like health, physical, mental health, and I just wanted to support my neighbors. I went to home office, so I was working from home. I had some spare time, and I was like, I'm just going to make some salad because I loved my salads, my healthy food. And I thought, I need a side project. I did everything I could at home, like all kinds of like works at home and gardening. I was like, gosh, I need something to do. And I thought like, I felt like people need more support because everyone was talking about it, but how about doing something? And I was like, okay, I'm just going to make those salads, add some cold pressed juices, smoothies, and offer something healthy for my neighbors. And I announced it on Facebook, and next day I had people knock on the door. And it naturally felt like, okay, I never had any idea before for the business. I knew it would be like the ultimate goal in terms of like personal and professional development to be able to build something and create something of value. And when I saw the response of people and how much like, wow, like I can see the future with it, like both for me personally, how I could grow with it, but I could really turn it into something. I didn't know what it would be. Like the only question, like, what could we do with it? And it just like naturally, step by step, you kind of, so that was like, okay, like I think I'm ready. And even if I'm not, I'm just going to like learn and go with it. I was very unaware of a lot of things. I was very enthusiastic, but unaware. And then it's like, oh, it's hard, but let's just go with it. And I was like, no, once you start, you just continue. There is no way back. At least for me, there was no way back. So that's how it started. It was like the lockdown, and I was like, okay, let's just make salads. Like, why not? Like a bit silly for it, but like, no, it felt important to me. And then seeing the response, like, oh my God, you know, the blue cheese. I'm like, yeah, you're really enjoying it, guys. Like
people actually like it.
Like, people actually like it. Yay. So that was, and it felt good. So I just went into it.
Amazing. I think being enthusiastic and being a bit unaware is actually a really important thing to have when it comes to business, or just, I guess, anything in life, really. Because if you know too much at the start, sometimes that can put you off the journey, can't it?
Absolutely, because like then I was so unaware. So it's like you're unaware and you're enthusiastic, but then after some time, like, you know, with my business, we had to pivot. There was so much things happening, and now I'm aware.
Yeah.
And now building again, starting something different, you have more like reservations, and like, because you know how, you know what's next, and it's not going to be like, you imagine it's going to be like, yeah, we did this, so then this happened. No, there is always so many things that happens that you don't know of, and now I know.
Yeah.
So I just feel like it's a bit more like, to start, it's good to be a bit unaware. So if you're thinking of doing a business or just starting something new, you just go with it.
Yeah.
But when you do it like again, you just know what's coming.
Yeah,
So
you've learnt the lessons already.
Kind of, you're a bit, at least for me, I'm not more reserved, but it's a very different mindset, and I approach it very differently now. And I read all the legal documents like a lot.
Yeah,
like, you know,
every
in details,
word.
like, oh, what does that mean? Like, exactly. Just I need to like double check everything so thoroughly, because I don't want to make, you know, mistakes.
Yeah. Have you always been quite business headed since you were younger, or was it something that just
really
popped
I was
up
very
later?
academic. I was all about studying and learning. That's like my natural way of being. I loved school. I would always study. Till today, I just always study something. I always like, so what's the next diploma I could do? Just like always something, because I just love learning, but I also love to share like what I know. And I was a teacher in Poland, so that was like, I loved it. It was like quite easy, natural for me. I really enjoyed doing it. But I always had a side hustle, because I was a single mom. So, you know, I would work 2 jobs. I would have a side hustle. So I had like my own private like tutoring business. So, but it's very different, because I didn't have to do any marketing for it or anything. It was just like so easy. So it's very different.
Yeah.
But like in my head, I always thought the natural progression for me, I didn't want to stay in education for too long. I got burned out very quickly, because I was doing so much. I was like, I think I've done everything I could here. Like, what's next? Do you know? And some people like the kind of stability of just like doing the same thing. That's not for me. I was like, no, I'm just getting so bored. I can't just wake up and do the same thing again and again. Like, no,
you need more.
And I thought the next step would be like, let's work in a big office. And then the business, that was like in my head, that was like a natural progression. I wanted some experience, like to some degree, like in the world of adults, like what is it like in the office? Because I worked with teenagers, so I was always with kids. And I just want to know what's this like, you know. So when I moved countries, I got a job in a big office. I think I manifested it, because they gave me a call. I was like, okay, let's do it. So that was great. I loved it. But then there was an opportunity with the business. But I don't think I've ever had, like in my family, I don't think we've ever had like any like business mindset kind of conversations. It was more about like being a victim and just expecting someone to come and help you.
Okay.
And I never agreed to that. I was always like a bit of the odd one out in my family. I was like, what you mean? Like, it's your own responsibility. You cannot count on like, you know, like, so you are with this employer because you chose it, right?
Yeah.
And now you're complaining. Like, so you either stop complaining or you do something about it. And in my household, it was like a lot of those conversations about like being a victim, like like, no, I'm just gonna, I always knew I wanted to take responsibility, you know, and be accountable for my life. And I never like hoped that someone would come and save me or do something for me.
Did it yourself.
Yeah. So it's this, that's why I love building and creating something, because it's this like responsibility that you create your own reality. And that's like, I love, this is like the best part for me. I think that you create something for yourself, for your family, but also for your network, for your friends, but for your community. And that's, I think it's of value, isn't it? What do you think?
100%. You know me, I'm all here for creating your own reality. That's what I'm all about as well. And unfortunately, so many people don't have that skill set. I think it is absolutely a mindset as well. That's the bottom line. You've got to have that mindset and that thought process. But entrepreneurs, I do believe, are a specific type of person. I think there's a lot of people that can have kind of ideas and want to do things and, you know, have all these ideas to actually do things, but it takes a very specific person with certain skill sets, which you can learn. I do believe you can learn a lot of those things, but I think you've got to be born and bred with a certain almost resilience and determination, which again, like you said, I don't know where that comes from. I don't think that's necessarily in your genes or anything like that. I think you've either got it or you haven't. And I think it's a small percentage of people that truly have that. Yeah. And I think that's the difference between successful entrepreneurs. Like if you look at how many people start businesses, and if they don't succeed within the first year, they give up.
Yeah, you need to power through
You've really got to power through
very difficult months and sometimes years.
Yeah.
You need to understand that you need to go through it instead of because you could start again, but then you're getting back to the starting point, and then the time when nothing is happening or you might not be moving the needle is it's inevitable. It's probably going to happen. So just stick with it, what you've got, and try to just better yourself, your system, your network, just whatever you do. Just starting again is very risky, isn't it?
For sure. But I love what you said, which I know you've done with your business. There's been quite a few pivot moments where same with me, over the years, and you just think, but you have to change, you've got to pivot a lot of the time.
Yeah, because it's both business but also life happens.
Exactly.
And it's I think business is easy, it's life that's difficult.
Yeah. And you're so right.
It's just if people, because we don't see what's happening behind the scenes, and things we go through, we have families, and one gets sick, you get sick, and you still need to show up.
Yeah.
And there is no way. I mean, you can do your best so that you show up and it doesn't affect work, but sometimes it does.
Sometimes it does. Exactly. You had quite a bad injury, didn't you?
Yeah.
How many years ago?
Was it 22, 23? Gosh, I'm so bad at counting
the
time. Have you seen this Mariah Carey when she has no idea? I don't count the time. I don't know what it's me. I'm what year are we in? I don't know. I'm just, I live in a moment.
A few years ago.
It was... Yeah.
So you'd already started your business at this point.
So we were 1 year into having a takeaway shop in High Street in Bedford. So that was 1 year in.
Okay, so do you want to talk about that journey? Because I think that's powerful.
So because I think I did talk about it, but I wasn't talking about it when it was happening. So I think people really were confused about what was actually going on.
Yeah, let's tell people.
So I got into a lot of pain, and it was very sudden, and I got into hospital, and they found something really large. They said it's a tumor, whatever, without really explaining things to me, something really big in my lungs being stuck to my heart, and it was size of a melon, and it was pressing on my organs.
Wow.
And that was really scary, and all I knew was we were having an emergency surgery in London, and I was like, what do you mean? I'm not, what do you mean? And it gets you start researching, and if it's an actual tumor and it's cancerous, you don't stand a chance.
Wow.
And you're in a foreign country with a child. You have all the you don't have a backup plan. You have all the payroll that you need to pay. You'd have all the liabilities, both in business but personal life. There is no one to support you. There is no family, and you have a child that is a teenager, and she hasn't got a dad. And what's going to happen to her? How are we going to do it? And how am I going to handle business? I was so worried about everything else. So I got into the mode of, okay, so before I go into surgery, I need to secure everyone. Because so there is no room for emotions. You are so scared, but you can't.
Yeah, you're being logical.
But I've because I've been through things in my life, so I know the drill. You just kind of detach yourself, and you're okay, you're the adult, you're the responsible one, you're the carer. Let's just sort things out and plan things. This is what's going to happen with this, and that. And I had the surgery, and luckily it was successful, but it was way more invasive than we thought.
Okay.
So without going into details, it takes about a year for recovery to be physically okay. And even now I never got the strength I had before. I get so tired more easily. I know before I could just go 24/7 work all the time, but now it just never got back this kind of physical strength. Although I've trained and I've tried, it's so it took a big toll on me, because once I realized how difficult the recovery is and the impact of medication, I was like, there is no way I can run a business. I'm not coming back. Like, that's it. The game's over.
You thought it was done.
It's done, and I decided to close. I spoke with solicitors. I said, listen, that's the situation. Like, I was like, no, you need to close the business. You're going to get into so much debt if you carry on. If the shop stays open and you're not in the business, you're not in it. So that was difficult decisions, personally. When things happen, you lose some people on the way, and that's very heartbreaking. I had some of my personal stuff like in the background going on because life happens. I was coming off a relationship that was not really great either.
So that was all going on at the same time.
It was all this at the same time. And you can only take on as much as you can. And it was like when there was a tipping point when I was like, no, I can't. It got very hard, and I had to go to the doctors and explain, like, listen, this is what I'm going through. I'm afraid even to go into a car because I have all those horrible thoughts. Like, I just want to drive into a tree. I don't know.
Really?
Just like, I'm like, I just don't have any more willpower in me. I can't control this anymore.
Your mind just went away with it.
Yeah. So I got some medication, got some help, and it helped quite quickly. So I was like, I just want to get back, like, mentally, get back and just figure things out. I was like, but even in this moment, Nat, I was like, okay, this is all for a reason.
Yeah.
Which is I always like to think the bigger the problem, the better the outcome later on. The more I always imagine, I say to people like a trampoline, and when you jump and you go down, and then you can just jump back. And I was like, if I don't turn it into the best thing that ever happened to me, my name is not Monika. This is not, So I was like, I'm gonna take this and do something so that I was thinking personally, okay, this is a good time to reflect deeply on healing and just think about not just your physical health but your mental health, whatever the childhood traumas, whatever, let's just use this as a pivotal time to heal. And I got into this very deep healing mode.
Wow.
And it continues, and it's been great. I don't think I would have done that if it wasn't for that.
No.
And I love it for me personally. I love it.
I love that. I love that for you as well.
But then with business, I was like, okay, well, I can still carry on. I can figure it out. And before I got sick, I was doing already lots of calculations and figuring things out. And I knew meal prep as a business is way more scalable. We were looking at different numbers. I had some help with it, and everyone was like, listen, look at those numbers, look at the stats, look at the forecasts. And I was like, let's just do the meal prep, because I can just I don't have to be there with customers. I can just take little jobs here and there, and then gradually heal and grow the business and use the time to figure out how I'm going to build the meal prep business. So I think I used the time as much as I could to and I started running, which is something I thought I would never be able to do. And I was like, what would be the hardest physical activity I could do in that moment? And I was like, running. Let's go. So that's my mindset. When it's hard, I'm like, how can I just turn it into positive? Something positive, because otherwise you could just sit down and be like, oh my God, I've lost everything. What's the point? And you just sit down in your misery.
Victim mode, you were saying before.
What's the point? It doesn't give you anything. At least, I would rather just try and have some hope and trust and have this, ultimate trust that it's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. You just,
Do you know what? I think you're so right. Just rewinding back to what you were saying about when you were really unwell, the business stuff wasn't going to plan. You were coming out of a relationship. You were really at rock bottom, right?
Oh yeah,
really at rock bottom.
Then, if people only saw, I wish I could if I had some pictures to just remind myself whoa, it
was bad.
Yeah, that was
but
bad.
I truly believe that the best success stories, personally and business wise, come from those people who have been through the darkest, most horrific times. And I think your story is a prime example of that. And I think your business is on a journey. We're all on a journey in life, and we're always striving for that next thing and that next thing. But I believe that when you have been through something that has made you life or death, basically, right? It was rock bottom. You were saying about your thoughts. You would have driven into a tree. That was where you were at. That you were at a bad stage, right? If that hadn't have happened to you, none of the stuff that has come after that would have happened. And it's a really difficult place to be when you're in a moment like that, to actually have that positive thought process. You know, I know so many people, even me, if I rewind to my life 20 years ago, I was always a positive person, but not to the level that I am now in terms of my mindset. I definitely had elements of victim mentality before I did the work on myself. And once you've done the work on yourself, you can then look back and you can very clearly see where you went wrong and how your thoughts literally manifest your reality. And I think the fact that you've had that thought process from the get-go, from what it sounds like, from when you were a child, you were saying, you know, you were at home and you'd be like, no, why are you having this victim mentality? That's a really unique skill. And like, that's a really unique way to be from such a young age. And that's evidently like been carried through your whole life, which I think is amazing. And that's only going to lead to even better things. Which brings me to my next question. I want to talk a little bit about your childhood and where you came from in terms of just life in general. I know you grew up in Poland. What was life like for you when you were younger, despite the things which you've already kind of mentioned?
Yeah, it's like it's a very different culture to grow up in compared to the UK. It's very different. There is no room for softness. Like, it's very harsh. It's very tough.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it continues till today. Like, both like the way parents treat children, I think that the educational system, how teachers approach kids at school, then when you go to work, it's like there is very little like positive reinforcement. Like there is, you know, so I thought I'm gonna share it. But I grew up in a household with a single mom and a dad and a brother. My dad passed away when I was 4, so he died in an accident. So yeah, it was just like me, my mum, and my brother. And there is nothing really exciting to report. It was a very lonely childhood. It wasn't like nothing like, it wasn't exciting. I didn't enjoy my childhood, to be honest. It wasn't like fun or cheerful. Like, I was just like studying a lot. My mum was quite specific. So I would always try to make her like happy or like make her proud, but she never was. So that was a bit of like, my childhood stuff that I had to deal with, because it kind of, I understand now in my late 30s how a lot of my decisions later in life were very much linked to that time, when I was a kid, and I was, the relationship I had with my mum and how it was. So that was it really. Like, I was just always like, as a kid, I was focusing on studying and learning, and I just felt like that was like my little bubble. But there was nothing exciting happening. Like, as a kid, like it was just like you live in a tower block, because that's like the usual, like back in the 90s. And it's just like you just need to like, everything is quite strict. Everything was quite strict, like with school and like the way you need to like behave and show up. It was like quite rigid, if that makes sense. So I don't have any like massive memories from my childhood. I just remember like being quite lonely, just always like studying and learning, because I had to be like the best at everything. Just be this perfect child,
wanting to impress,
continue to impress, but nothing was ever good enough. So that was like something I've learned, and I had to like unlearn it, that I'm like good enough, like no matter what. Like I didn't need to prove things. I like to prove myself here and there, like
now and then,
just now and there. But like I don't have to do it to feel like I'm worthy anymore. Like back then I felt like I had a lot of like self-loathing thoughts, and because I was like, gosh, like if my mom just she clearly hates me, and she can't even hide it, like
did she make that was that a clear thing that she made obvious to you?
She said it to my
face.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and she said it to my face when I was in like, in probably that, like the surgery that we discussed, that, that was one of the hardest things. But, when I became a single mom and I made those decisions that I'd rather be a single mom than be in a relationship that is definitely not great for me or for my daughter. Like, she made it very clear that, she's, I'm the worst person on earth, and she could never love me.
Wow.
So that's,
that must have been so tough.
Yeah, that was like okay, that's when I've learned that, okay, it's just going to be me, myself, and I, and that's how we're going to roll it. Like, that's how we're going to do it. And it was like the beginning, I think I was 22. And I was like, okay, so no one is coming to the rescue. Now, Monika, you've got a child. Maya was one. Maya is my daughter. And I was like, okay, we now need to become someone we've never been. And we need to figure out how we're going to do all those things. But also we need to be like very strong. And that was like something, I don't, not the way I think about those things, I'm always just like grateful, because if it wasn't for that, like, I mean, you receive in life what's meant for you. Like, I just have this like ultimate trust, and I think it was supposed to happen to kind of trigger my growth, maybe. Just I always like to just try to find something good in everything. So even that experience, I'm grateful, because it kind of started my personal growth and creating someone I am today.
Yeah.
100%.
So that's what I was going to ask you. So was it that period of time when you were 22 and your mum, you obviously had that indication with your mum. Was that that kind of pivotal moment for you? Moving forward with your personal development.
I remember just finding out I was 22 when I found out I was pregnant, and I was still a student. I was at uni. And it's like it almost felt like instantly, within a second, like something like happens to you, and like, okay, you become so grounded in that moment, because you need to become so responsible now. And I was still, I was just partying hard. I was a student. I was I had the best time of my life. I was just it was quite a good time, at university, but I didn't know what I would do with my life then. But once you know you're going to have a child, it was just like, okay, now we're going to be an adult person, and we're going to do all those things. So I remember the impact it had on me, and how instantly it grounded me so much. I was like, I'm just going to be the best I can with it. I'm just going to do my best, because I felt like I wasn't equipped. The way I grew up, I felt like I was not equipped to be a mom, emotionally, and in any way. I'm like, no, we need to figure this out. And that was a big moment. But I also knew I potentially would be a single mom. I already knew that. But then a year later, when I made my exit, because, without going into details, I was really forced into that relationship, because I didn't want to be with my daughter's dad.
Right.
But I was so young, and I was like, no, you have to. That's it. What's done, it's done, and you just have to. And I couldn't say no, because I was so young.
Where did that come from? Where did that boy, who was telling you that you
my
had
mom.
to? Your mum. Okay.
Yeah. So and I was 22, so I was like, so either going over them, or I'm just gonna be homeless. What are we gonna do? Where are we gonna go? You need to remember that Poland is not a country where I would get any kind of support, and oh, listen, life happened. I screwed up, and now I need help. No one would come to help you. There is no government help of you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just had to okay, I'm just gonna do it. But I knew in my heart it was not good, and it's going to be very difficult. So after a year I was like, absolutely, I need to save myself, or not. So it was almost like an escape kind of thing. I just had to go and take my child, because something better will eventually happen if we stay.
Yeah. Were you certain of that? Were you like, if I don't leave now?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. We would not be having this conversation now, for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then from that point you came to the UK?
No, and then I was stuck for about 10 years, because I couldn't make my own decisions, because legally I was so stuck.
Wow.
And I had so many attempts, and I had opportunities, and people offering me jobs, even a lot of teaching jobs abroad. I had so many opportunities to go and travel. I always wanted to travel.
Yeah.
Ever since I went to London for the first time when I was 17, and it just felt like home. I was like,
really?
One day I'm going to be here. It's just the feeling I had. It feels like home.
Yeah.
It's just wow. And it never left me.
Wow.
It just never left me. I had so many attempts to move, but legally, again, I just couldn't. Everything was being blocked. And my daughter's dad was not involved. But he said to me, I'm going to do everything to ruin your life.
Wow.
And he kept the promise, just for the sake of just being vindictive because
Wow.
I left. And it's like it took me a lot to understand why. And now when I understand a lot about like narcissistic abuse and those toxic narcissistic traits, it all ticks the boxes. And I'm like, I wish I had known back then what I was actually dealing with, because I was quite emotional with everything.
You don't know, do you?
But now I understand, which is good for me, because like a lot of the blame, it's like, no, it wasn't on me. There was nothing I could have done to communicate better. Or so about 10 years of just like going back and forth and trying, attempting. And I knew like if there is an opportunity, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go. And I was 30 when there is an opportunity. I was like, I just called my lawyer and said, listen, I'm done. I'm not even telling anyone. We're just going. And I just packed everything into boxes and we left.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my God. And you never looked back.
No, that was like the best.
Yeah.
The feeling of freedom was like the best. And we won the case. I got all the parental like rights. So I don't
10
have
years
to.
Though. That's a long time.
About 8, 9, I think. Like I said, I'm not good with counting the time, but and it was, it's good to be like, feel free. It's the best feeling in the world. I love it.
Oh my gosh. Do you know what? When you were just describing, being with a narcissist and stuff like that. So I recently learnt some stats, which I was like, oh my God, this is so true. So
Gone.
I don't know about you, but I always usually like to have that impression where everyone that I meet is a good person until they give me a reason not to think so.
Okay.
Right? So I like to think that unless you give me a reason not to trust you, I'm going to trust you. And then when you fuck it up, see you later. Okay. You get one chance and that's it. That's kind of my approach on things. Otherwise, I think you can live a life on a bit of anxiety if you think that everyone's bad. So I've always had this approach where, I don't even when people are doing bad things or, make mistakes or don't treat you in the right way, there's maybe something in them that just, they didn't mean it, right? That was this is before I learnt this new bit of information, which now I've changed my mind basically. Yeah. So I've recently learned that, I don't know how accurate this is, but supposedly there's 20% of people in this world who are just arseholes.
1 in 6.
Okay.
They have narcissistic traits.
1 in 6. So yeah, is that 20% roughly?
I think that would
15 to 20%.
Someone else do the maths.
Yeah, someone else do the maths. Makes kind of adds up. So 20% of people are just knobs. They're just bad people. 40% of people are not meaning to be a bad person, but they might have something wrong with them, maybe mentally, or they might have been through some horrific life experiences which have made them behave in a certain way.
But they still have some kind of empathy. They're not monsters.
Exactly. And they have a good heart. They're just behaving in the wrong way. And then you've got 40% of people who are good people. And when I heard that, I was like, actually, do you know what? I fully believe that. I think, we can't just assume that just because we're good people or we're empathic or we have a good heart and we want to be kind and we want to help people, that everyone is going to be like that. And I think it's so important to remember that actually, if you do come across people who treat you in a certain way or behave in a certain way, or you witness them doing something in a certain way, that they might just be a bad person. And you have to just accept that. And that's 20% is quite a big number.
You know what's the scariest bit? The worst abusers are like your nice neighbor.
Right.
That is like the, father of the year, like so helpful.
Yeah.
Always like,
never would have thought that.
These are the worst abusers.
Yeah.
Because the reality is like what they show outside into the world is very different than what happens behind the closed doors. And that's the kind of confusion. Then you feel like, what the fuck? What's that?
Yeah.
What do you mean? And you blame yourself. But it's just part of the game.
Yeah. It's just an act, isn't it?
That's why I don't, when I see like a nice, I just have my, you never know.
You never know.
You never know.
And I definitely think, when you've been through something in life, you automatically have more of a guard up, don't you? You automatically think, oh, what if? And I think that's a blessing, but also a curse, because
it is, because do you know what, like, to be like super honest with you, like sometimes I wish I didn't have all those experiences,
Right.
because like the relationship I told you about, like
Yeah.
that ended before I was I had my health issues.
Yeah.
That was like the worst narcissist I've ever met.
Really?
And I, you know, when I met him, I would never tell. I
Really?
thought like, wow, such a good guy, such a good guy. He would never, you know, and he was the worst, like someone that lived multiple different lives and someone that was so manipulative and evil at the core, but the exterior, when you look at it, you know, Father of the Year, like the, you know, hardworking, nice to everybody. You would never tell, and he was the worst. But I like to think that I needed to go through that because it helped me understand the pattern.
Sure.
And it helped me get back to whatever happened. So I'm grateful. Again, I'm just practicing like, okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. I hate you, but thank you.
I hate you, but thank you. So it triggered something again in me. I was okay. So it triggered like a big healing journey as well. So that was part of the big healing stuff as well.
I want to get into the healing stuff, but before we do,
go on.
So if you're happy to talk about it, so you've had a couple of experiences with a narcissist.
Yeah.
You said 1 in 6 people. That's, you know, that's a lot of people. If anyone's listening to this who has no idea, firstly, what a narcissist is, or maybe does know what it is, but they're not sure if they're in that situation or not, could you maybe just talk a little bit about that? What kind of traits should people be looking out for? What did you experience? Just whatever you want to share.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not a specialist.
No, sure.
I don't have like a degree to talk about it, but I have a lifetime of experience,
and I think that's more powerful.
And I've helped a couple of friends as well who had no idea, and I was like, darling, like, do you know what? I need to tell you this, and I would like point things out.
Yeah.
Like, you need to like start educating yourself, because you have no idea who you're about to deal with. This is not like,
I just got shivers then when you said that.
It's something. It's like, you know, so like one of the red flags would be like just being confused, like I said, like being very different in front of like public, like being this like, you know, for neighbors, like they are the most helpful for everyone else but you. And how they treat you in, you know, privately is very, very different.
Yeah.
But there are those, if you think your relationship is going through lots of like ups and downs, in the sense of like you almost feel like you're addicted to that person, because 1 minute they love bomb you, and it's, you know, and then they discard you and they treat you like terribly, and you find out they cheat, they lie, but then they kind of gaslight you into something, and it gets like very confusing. If you feel like, oh my God, this is confusing, I don't understand. It is making me like, I feel like being with them hurts me so much, but leaving them is impossible. Like you feel like you're addicted to those cycles. You know, you need it, and it's almost as strong as like drug addiction. It changes your brain, something that happens in your brain, and it's very dangerous. Like it's very, very dangerous, and you need to understand that those people, they don't care about you. They don't care about your feelings, they don't care about your children. It's all about them, you know, and they will just gaslight you into anything. Like you could be like, oh, this is like whatever, this is like a tele, and like, no, it's not. You're dumb. Like, what do you mean? Like they would like, you know, those kind of traits.
Anything that you say, you're wrong.
Yeah, especially when you're at the phase when you kind of like need to co-parent. Try co-parenting that with a narcissist.
Yeah.
Jeez, that's impossible. Like you need to learn, like I've learned like the grey rocking method. Like this is how I speak to my mum, for instance.
What's it called?
Grey rocking method. So you don't give them a lot. You just give them like enough info, because if you still need to be in contact with a person, you kind of just, like, yes, thank you.
Yeah. Minimum.
You don't show any emotions. Like you can't, they love to see you spiral, like your emotions, whether it's good or bad, they love it. The way they function, they feed off you.
Yeah.
Right? They literally suck the life out of you.
Yeah.
And it almost feels like you just die inside.
Wow.
And I've heard so many people do it. It feels like someone raped your soul. Like,
Oh my
so I heard
gosh.
someone said it. And the reason why it takes so much time to recover from those relationships is because it's not a regular breakup. And a lot of people would just question me, like, why you've always been like, just, you know, like single. I'm like, you don't understand.
Yeah.
What
I've
you know
been
what
through.
it did to me, because it feels like, you know, things you enjoyed doing before you met them, you can't get back to that.
You lost the joy.
And it's like, what do you mean? You just lose it.
Yeah.
And it's very deep. It's very strong. So I can only empathize with people that are stuck in those relationships. You have children with people that treat you horribly, and because I know it's very hard to leave, and they almost make it impossible very often to leave because they're very controlling as well.
Yeah.
They control the finances, and just like they isolate you from family very often, and you're just like, you feel like just like a shell of yourself. I remember when I was with Maya's dad, like I had people that would be afraid to talk to me because I just looked so poorly. I was like a skeleton.
Really?
Like I had like because I just couldn't eat from stress, and just being like stuck, you know, with him. And I'm like, no one understands. I have no one to go to and complain.
Yeah.
His entire family, he thinks he's just like a god.
They have no idea.
But they have no idea. And my mom was the same when I was just begging her, like, please, like, can I come back home? She was like, no, like she didn't understand either.
What about when you left him? Does she understand when you left him? No.
She blamed me.
Really?
So what I needed to do, and what I did, I put him on a speaker so he wasn't aware
that
someone else was listening. And it was like, you know, like
really
opening. I'm like, who's that? I'm like, well, that's what I've been dealing with. Like, and you guys didn't see that.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I feel like the word like narcissist, like some people say like, oh, everyone is just using it, and it's just like, you know, people overuse it. I'm like, no, we need to educate people more and more about like those toxic traits so that you can leave before it's too late.
Yeah.
Because if someone had told me that, because like for some reason, and I don't know why, for some reason leaving Maya's dad was very easy for me. In a sense, like mentally, I just knew I cannot be with him, and I don't want to. I wasn't like addicted to him in a sense of like, there was not this like bonding, like this weird bonding. But the last relationship, because there were so many those cycles, and I was like, gosh, if someone just explained it to me and I didn't have the experience, like I would be so judgmental. I would be like, I would not be able to even like imagine what it feels like.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's that? Like, why is it making me feel like this? Why I cannot just like go?
Yeah.
So that's why I think we need to talk about it, because so many people go through it.
Yeah. And you're right, the word gets thrown around a lot. And I have friends who are in relationships and they're throwing around, and I can see it, you know, and you can see certain patterns.
Yeah.
And they're throwing around this word, and they're throwing it around quite casually.
Yeah, listen,
and
like
it's not a casual conversation, you know.
It's like not the when there is a moment when you deal with them and the mask slips, you know, for whatever reason, like they forget for a second and they are triggered. Like what you say, like even the eyes change, they are like black.
Yeah.
Like they turn even the way they look, it just changes. Something changes, and all you say is like something so evil at the core.
Yeah.
Like you can't be like narcissist. Narcissist is not someone who just like, oh, I just love myself. It's not. It's someone who's very dangerous. Someone is very dangerous because it's someone who pretends to love and care for you, but what they do is to destroy you. And that's very confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's evil.
Yeah. Well, your partner outright said to you that he wants to destroy your life.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even trying to hide it.
Yeah.
You know?
And again, with both of those guys, like you would look at them, like when I met them, like, gosh, like
wonderful.
Great, wonderful. Like just like an average Joe, like, because I was, you know, like just that
love bombing at the start, that is like one of the biggest things, isn't it?
It
From
is.
what
Like
I've
when
heard.
they, like when they start with like, my God, I've never felt anything like this before. Like, you're the best, you're the one. And I was never pushing like marrying or having children like early on. Like, because very often they try to like kind of trap you into marriage and kids like very early on. So I've never had that in a way. But yeah, they will kind of just make sure you think they are like the best.
Yeah.
It's just...
And then was it a case of bit by bit it started coming out, or was it kind of an overnight something changed? Like how did it develop?
No, bit by bit. Bit by bit.
Yeah. So at the start you don't think too much, and then it gets worse.
Yeah, because the last relationship, there was just like so many lies. Like, I probably don't know like even like half of it, but so many lies. And you're just like, you're almost in this disbelief that, like this person, like, the way we talk now, and it's just like you would never imagine that this person is capable of that. Like, what? So it's like bit by bit, and but then they come back and they tell all those things, and it's just like, it's very confusing. It's very, very confusing.
Did you have with Maya's dad, and actually with the relationship, your last relationship, did you have almost like a light bulb moment one day where you woke up and you thought, what am I doing? I need to get out?
With Maya's dad,
Maya's dad,
yes.
So it wasn't like a gradual process?
It was with Maya's dad, actually. It was a day before I found out I was pregnant.
Really?
So a day before I found out, something happened. And it was like this, like it's someone like turned the light on. And I was like, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And then I found out I was pregnant the next day.
Wow.
So that was not the best timing,
my gosh.
was it?
God, but again, that's the universe doing something, isn't it?
Like, I believe my daughter was meant to be here. Like, she came here for very important reasons, and I love her to bits, and she's the best thing ever.
How old is she now?
She's 15. She's going to be 16 now. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. Are you guys really close?
Yeah. This is like, I don't know, the bond, because like we've been through so many things like together.
Yeah.
And we like moved countries together. We have this like special relationship, I think. I don't even know how to, it feels like we just like, not like sisters, but there is just like so much, just like, I don't know, we're just so close.
Yeah. That's amazing.
She's just absolutely the best. The best.
I love that. Do you think she'll get involved with Veggie Crush at some point?
Oh, she
already is.
She already kind of is.
Yeah.
But she's got her own stuff.
Has she?
Yeah. So she's more into like, she wants to work for Formula One.
Oh, really?
And she loves music as well. Yeah. So she's got her own like hobbies and some dreams and goals for the future.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So she's got that to support.
That striving for life that you have as well.
She's way more relaxed.
Is she?
She's way more relaxed.
Yeah.
So she's teaching me how to be a bit more like chill. She's like, Mum, just relax. Like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay. So she's a bit more relaxed.
Do you know what? I think our children are some of the greatest teachers, and I know you definitely feel that about your daughter.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as adults, you often think, not everyone, but you often think, you know what, I know best for my child, right? And sometimes you do, but sometimes you don't. They have to go through their own life experiences to get their own lessons to shape their life. And I think it's so important to remember that. And I love that you can look at your daughter and be like, you're actually teaching me to be a bit more chilled, to be a bit more this, to be a bit more that, to look at that in this way. And I think that's just such a beautiful thing.
Like to navigate, like, being her mother, I needed to like look at her and think like, what do you need from me? Like, not what I would like, it's about you and how do you want me to be for you? Like, what is it? So you have to be like quite observant and just say what's, because I could be a bit strict.
Yeah.
But with her, I know
I
cannot be. I need to be just really just like gentle and subtle and give her some, the support that she needs.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a dance, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And it's all a journey, isn't it? And it's constant, like everything, it's constant learning, constant experiences.
But we talk about it, like I'm very honest with her. Like we have those, like the way we talk now,
Yeah.
we have those conversations. And I would like genuinely ask her, like, you know, some in-depth questions, like, what do you need? How can I support her? Like she was, you know, she was in therapy, and she loved her therapy. She loved it, and she's very keen. She loves talking about like psychology, relationships, those things. Like if there is like any kind of like relationship problem, she would just like say something like, how do you know that? Like she's just so smart like that. She's got, you know, she's got big intuition. She's emotionally very intelligent. So I love talking to her about it, and just like whatever I didn't know, and I had to figure it out, you know, it took me years to learn some things. I just, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to give you my wisdom. Let's talk. And it's just, it's great to be able to have those conversations, really.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think going back to what we were saying at the start of the conversation, how, you know, everything shapes us, right? Everything shapes our life. And the fact that you were going through what you were going through when you were pregnant and when you had your daughter, and all of those life experiences, just think how much wisdom, like you just said, and how many lessons and just ways of life you can teach her because of the shit that you've been through.
Yeah, and you just know? Like, my gosh, like, did I screw you up like really badly? Because you feel guilty like for things, and I'm just
so
like,
much blessings in that.
Okay, are you okay? And it's just, and especially now when she's 16, and it's like, you know, it's the mood goes up and down, and it's like, okay, we're dealing with it now.
Yeah. I remember when I was 16, my poor parents.
It's a bit like, we're on it.
Oh, that's amazing though. I think that's great. So I just want to talk about your healing journey a little bit more, because obviously we've spoken about all of the stuff that you've been through to get to this point. So what did you start doing differently when you began your healing journey, when you started to feel grounded, when you started to put yourself first and do all those things that we've been speaking about? What did that look like?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think to start with, you need to like recognize where you're at. So just being reflective of like what's going on in your life. And I love doing like coaching exercises. I would like sit down, write things down, and just see what's going on. And where I want to like go from now on. So to start with, you need to understand like where you're at. But also it's just like, I would need to like finally be like, okay, like we need to start being a bit more gentle. Like we've been surviving for so many years. Like let's just be a little bit more loving and caring. And that's just something like mentally, you can't see it, but that's something I'm practicing. Just like, just become love. It doesn't make sense. Like you want to become just like this loving, you know, energy, whatever,
just
like
softer
version of yourself. So that no matter what happened, you know, I needed to learn that. I was like, okay, I don't have that at all. Clearly, I need to like just start having different conversations in my head. And I started like running a little bit, and that's a massive healing thing for me because it's kind of, it helps a lot. I very much limited any kind of like alcohol, and I think that's really great for healing because it kind of shows you, I don't know how to explain it, because I spoke with Matt Pink about it, and I said to him, listen, like when I took, so I've never been like a massive drinker or anything like that, but like I would have like occasional drink here and there, just like socially. And I said to Matt, like, listen, like the minute I stopped, like I took a break, I'm like, I'm just not drinking alcohol. Like something really weird happened to me. Like all of those things like from the past like started coming back to me, almost as if like, look at me, like we need to deal with that.
The clarity
and
of
I was
everything.
like, I feel like, you know, drinking in any kind of like, or anything, like just, it was like suppressing all that. And I was like, okay, wow, so this is it. And it's just kind of like, I would like look at different aspects, whatever happened, I was like, just let it go, let it go, let it go. Just like, I felt like I need to let go of so many things that are holding me back if I want to start the new chapter of my life and do some big stuff in the future. So I was like, okay, what do I need to like let go, let go, let go? So that was like kind of the mental practice I would do. I created some space in my life to be able to do it. Does it make sense?
Yeah,
You know what I'm
100%.
saying? Because
Yeah.
it's I'm feeling like I'm not making.
No, you're definitely making sense. Yeah.
So
for
I just
sure.
like created a space where I would just do that, because again, I was at the point of my life that I set up myself very ambitious goals.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I need to become a person, you know, to be able to do it. Like, I need to become a certain person. So we need to like heal and let all of this go.
Yeah.
Like, and yeah, that's something that I've been, it's like a mental practice. I don't know
Yeah.
how to explain it. I'm
Yeah.
quite reflective.
Is it, do you write things down?
A lot. Now it's gonna laugh. I talk to myself a lot,
Oh my
like
God,
out
no,
loud.
I do as well.
Like non-stop. It's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Yeah, no,
Sometimes I forget myself,
it's not
and
embarrassing, I
I'm
love
just
it.
I'm like in public and I start talking. I'm like, Monika, no, don't. Yes, someone can actually listen. So I just talk, and I did start like a little project.
Yeah.
And I hope one day maybe I'll write some of
Yeah.
the story, and I'm gonna like write it down as a book.
Yeah, you should.
And I, like Lauren, she knows because I shared with her like
Yeah.
the concept for it. And I was like just creating the idea, just writing a bit, you know, some bits, and I know one day will come when it will be like done and finished.
Yeah.
But I just talk to myself nonstop,
Yeah.
just talk
Yeah.
a lot.
But that's the best way to get it out, you know,
Yeah.
when you're speaking it or writing it.
And I'm like, when we're at the end, I'm just
Yeah, I know, but I think healing is just a continuous process.
It is, isn't it?
I say that, but I actually saw something online the other day which I really loved, and it was about healing. And it said, it's great to be on this journey of, you know, your healing journey, and it isn't linear, it's a consistent thing and all of that. But at some point, you've got to just start living.
Yeah, of
and
course.
stop worrying about healing.
Absolutely.
And I love that.
You do it because you want to thrive.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You don't want to survive. But also, like, I spoke with my friend Slav last week about it, and I said to her, like, I've heard a word healing a lot, like before, and it was like healing. Here, everyone is healing from something. But do you actually know what you're healing from?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I felt like I didn't fully understand what I was healing from.
Okay.
Until, like, you know, I stopped drinking. Like, I took a break from like alcohol, and it just like I just got this like big clarity, and I was like, okay, so that's what I'm healing from. I've got a massive wound in me. And so many things, so many decisions I would make. Some of them were like self-destructive. Like, it was because I was trying to fill in that wound, that void, like whatever it is. Like, that's what I'm healing. Like, I need to be my own mom, take care of myself, be gentle, show myself love and compassion. And it was until I kind of had this clarity of what is it in me that is hurting, that is like, come on, just look after me, please, you know.
Pay attention to me. Yeah.
Oh, so that was like, do you actually know what you're healing from?
Yeah. Yeah. I that's such a powerful thing to talk about. And I think what's really important as well is that it doesn't always have to be this big drastic thing that you're healing from. Often it isn't, you know. People talk about trauma all the time. Again, another word which is flung around a lot these days, right? Which is, I think, is a good thing that people are talking about it. But again, it then allows room for misconception of what these words actually truly mean. And there's so much to it. And, you know, when people are healing from trauma, it doesn't have to be a huge thing that you've been through in your life. Yes, often it can be, and sometimes it is. But you know, a lot of the time it could be a conversation which lasted 20 seconds when you were 5 years old, which you've forgotten about, but had such a huge impact on your life.
I could agree more.
Yeah, or one person that came into your life for a week, did something, said something, and then left. Like, they can be the smallest little things, but all of these things add up. And until you have that moment of like, oh my God, that's what it was. And that doesn't come until you create the space, until you allow for that. And like you said, you know, stopping drinking, I think, is a huge thing. I drink hardly anything these days in comparison to what I used to. And I don't think it's a coincidence that my personal development journey has taken a new pivot since I've done that.
Linked to
100%.
What have you noticed for yourself?
I just think I've become, firstly, just a lot more clarity on a daily basis. I think whether you drink 3 drinks or 5 drinks or 10 drinks on a Saturday night, that affects me until Wednesday. You know, it stays in me for a long time as I've got older. You can't drink how you used to drink, right? And you just feel like shit all the time. But that's a main thing on a day-to-day basis, the clarity. That then has a massive effect on your focus, on your thought processes of, you know, anxiety. Have you heard the term anxiety?
Oh, I've had that. Like,
that's a massive thing.
Even when I drink like a tiny bit of wine, I have that.
Yeah, you wake up in the morning.
I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do this thing.
Yeah.
And I get like, so like, no, I lose my motivation to do anything. It just gets a bit funny.
It's
so
too
I would
much.
rather like, that's not worth it. That's not
It's
what
not.
I wanna do.
I'm not sure how, would you say you're a spiritual person?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're like this. A conversation which I had with my breathwork coach about a month ago. And I was telling her how I don't even really want to drink anymore. I don't have the want to do it. So I've gone through this process of, I used to work in nightlife. I used to drink a lot. I used to party. I was a party girl. So I've gone from that to then obviously coming out of that industry, coming into the wellness space. When I did that, obviously I started drinking less anyway, but I would still drink on the weekend, or I still wanted to drink. Like I liked drinking. I found it fun. Never to the point of like an issue, but I like to drink. I come from, my dad's Lebanese, so I come from Middle Eastern culture. Drinking is just, everyone likes to have a drink, everyone likes food. It's quite a cultural thing. So I've grown up kind of with that around me. So I've gone from drinking a lot to then drinking a little bit, but still wanting to the last maybe 6 to 8 months, I would say, which just so happens to be the time where I know for a fact I have spiritually leveled up drastically to not even wanting to drink.
And that's so beautiful, isn't it?
Which
when
is
you
amazing.
reach the point that nothing triggers you in life, that you think like, oh, I just had such a long day, I deserve a little glass of wine. You don't have that anymore. No. And I think it's a big sign of healing.
100%.
Isn't it?
I could not
and
agree
it's
more.
Like freedom almost. Do you feel like it freed you from something?
I think, I think freedom is a great word to put with it. And I think also, this is me going a bit woo-woo here, but I think you'll like it. If you're at a certain level of consciousness, right? Having alcohol, okay, let me rewind. Having alcohol makes you feel a certain way. Some people drink alcohol to feel better, to feel happier, to be more confident, to have a dance if they want to have a dance, to talk to certain people they might not specifically talk to. They look at alcohol, and alcohol does something to somebody which gives you confidence and which gives you this oomph, right? When you're a certain level of consciousness and you're a certain level of spiritual, I guess, you're already there. Yeah. So having alcohol actually does the opposite, the total opposite effect of that.
That's so true.
Isn't it? I don't even feel drunk when I drink anymore.
I don't want to. That's the thing. Like, we've been through to like a festival with my daughter not a long time ago. Went to Silverstone for 3 days, and so many people that were like drinking heavily. Yeah, and it was a lot of it is like music and concerts and just having fun. And I was like, not even for a second, I thought I need to have any kind of alcohol to like dance and sing and do all the crazy stuff that you do just to have fun. And I was like, wow, it feels so good. It feels like really, really good because I don't want to. Yeah. And I was like looking around and I was like, wow, everyone is just like getting themselves in the mood, drinking just to get themselves in the mood and have fun. But I just don't want to. Yeah. And I felt like proud of myself in a way that I was like, oh, shit, that's good.
I don't need to.
I can be fun without that.
Yeah, but that's quite it's quite a big deal because that's not a common thing.
Yeah, it takes some confidence. Do you think to be like to be able to just like go out and be
dance
fun and be around people that drink and still have fun and engage.
Yeah. It shows where you're at. You're at a high level of your frequency is high if you're doing that. Yeah. And that's the aim. And I have, don't get me wrong, every now and then I do have a glass of wine with my dinner if I'm out or whatever, if I fancy it. But then when I drink it, I'm now like,
it doesn't feel
I don't really enjoy it anymore.
Taste anymore, do you? It's just like,
it's just weird.
Yeah,
it's so different.
I'm the same with you.
Yeah,
I have the same experiences.
Yeah, and that topic is something which I actually want to look into a bit more, like that kind of looking at where you're at spiritually and looking at alcohol.
Oh, I love the spiritual stuff. Yeah, so if you want to talk about the spiritual stuff,
my gosh, we'll do another episode.
Do you know what your like your life path number is?
Do you know what? I had a talk with somebody who did my birth chart and like all of that, and I have it somewhere. I couldn't tell you I couldn't tell you the information now, but I have got that information from a few years ago. But I love all of that stuff, and like,
so interesting.
yeah, it's so interesting. And like the time you were born and your rising star sign, and like there's so many things which are to do with so many different things which have an effect on your life. I love all of that stuff.
Yeah.
What's your life path number?
Because once you start looking into it, it's just like, whoa, that's a bit like, whoa, how did you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, like my number is 33, which is like the master teacher number. And I think that's why I've always like learning, teaching, and just it feels just like so like natural to me. And so that's a very old soul kind of number.
Yeah.
And according to like I'm just sharing what I know about the number. So it's an old soul, and you're supposed to go through a lot of challenges at the beginning of your life to learn, to grow, to like this like the best person you can be, and then you help, you serve, you use whatever you've been through to help and teach. So that's theoretically what the path, the journey of 33.
Oh my god, I need to find out what mine is.
Go have a look.
Yeah, I'm gonna go find out.
The best thing is now you can talk to like ChatGPT. And just like it will literally just like debunk everything and explain to you, and it's like, whoa, like it's quite fun to just like look into it. It's like a bit of my side hobby. Like I just love like anything spiritual, tarot.
Same.
That's a bit of my
know.
But it's always like, you always need to like first like, are you into that? Once
you
know someone is into
you?
that, then you can like, we could never
I
chat.
feel more people are becoming open to that kind of conversation now as well. And I definitely think there's some sort of collective shift happening at the moment. But that's a whole other podcast episode as well, isn't it? Which we won't tap into today. But there's definitely something going on. I feel it.
And I think it's good. I think it's something positive.
Yes, I think so. I think it's definitely something positive. I think there's still, from what I can see, from what I've experienced, anyone who is a negative, like a bad person, speech marks, right? I feel like we're at a time where people can't hide anything anymore. I feel like anyone that is bad, all of their shit is just is coming out.
It is.
I think there's no way of hiding it.
Bit of a karma thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I fully think that, and I think it's all coming out to then make space for more of those who do want to serve and that do want to help. And there's definitely something going on.
Yeah, and like when you think about just like business wise, you see more and more people going into like the self-employment, like starting their own small businesses that aim to help. And a lot of those small businesses, I know like in your network as well, like it's people that aim to help. It's a lot about like wellness, the spiritual stuff, well-being, and helping people. It is coming from something like you finally kind of connect with yourself, and you think like I want to do it. Like I don't want to do the whatever I was told that we all need to like follow certain path, go 9 to 5, this and that, and just like I'm like, don't tell me what to do. Like
that's just definitely the attitude, isn't it?
And I think it shows in business as well. And I think in Bedford specifically, you can see how many amazing businesses we've got that aim to support community people and how those people, they kind of connect together as well and support each other as well. And I just want to say this because I think Bedford is amazing in terms of like community network, like people just supporting people in such a beautiful way.
It is, 100%.
And it is all coming from like a very positive place that aims to help people, community, health, wellness, all the good stuff.
Yeah, totally. And all those people that you're talking about have been through, from what I know anyway, they've been through something horrific. The majority, not everyone, but the majority. And that's not a coincidence,
Nope.
Anyway.
No, and it's like when someone asks like, oh, like I'm looking for my purpose, and I will look into potentially like something that could help you like to find your purpose. It's like looking through the darkest thing you've been through, you've powered through, you did it, and maybe you can just use that to kind of help others,
to guide you.
maybe that could be like something that could trigger your, you know, your journey and how you know, go from there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I could literally talk to you all about
Okay,
5 more
I know.
hours and the rest, but
Sorry,
we haven't got time. So before we finish, I just want to go back to Veggie Crush. So just tell people a bit more about where you're at now with Veggie Crush. What can people, you know, if people are like, oh, meal prep, that sounds good. Could that be for me? Do you want to just tell them a bit more about what it is that you're offering?
Yes, of course. So like, I'm very excited with Veggie Crush because we're like working and Lauren can confirm, there is so much happening in the background because we're working very hard to scale it and to kind of like bring it to more people. But what, like in terms of like offering, what I'm focusing on is to create something different, something like that is very like specific to us. That's why we have specialist meal plans. And we started like kind of, instead of just going into like the generalist meal plans, into more specific to help with specific goals. And I think nutrition itself is very confusing for a lot of people, and it can be like just it's just difficult. It's like we don't have a lot of time, but it's like it's confusing with the amount of confusing information, misinformation. Like we often don't know what's good for us. But if you know you have certain health and fitness goals, you can just always like, okay, like I'm a woman in menopause, I'm going through some stuff. How about I just choose a plan that is to support me? Or I have a very active lifestyle, I want to do like more like high protein. So my vision for it is to help with this decision making process, and for people, instead of just like, oh, what do I do? Like, what do I need this or that, or is this good for me? I want to create plans, and I want to expand the offer into something that is just like helping people, like genuinely helping people feel better. So it's, you know, it's the food is important, obviously, and you want it to be like the best, but I want people to feel good. That's always like my goal. Like I just want people to feel good. Obviously the convenience aspect of the meal prep, which is everything is delivered to your doorstep, you customize your order, like how many meals, the sizes. We're always here to help you as well. If you need some advice, guidance, we're always here to help as well. So that's the goal. And we operate in Bedford, Milton Keynes. We did a trial courier delivery run like on a nationwide scale. But that was not really great, in a sense that the companies, like the biggest names like we've worked with, so it was not the best experience for us, like our end. And I decided that there is too much of a risk for me as a business. Like I might potentially lose a reputation of, you know, for us, because this is just not handled well. Like you imagine,
you got to be so mindful of that.
And I'm like, I want to keep a very premium level to what we do, a premium feel. And I'm like, no, this is my baby. I need to like figure it out how to do it so that we, you know, it's the best you know, I can offer. So it was difficult again, but I was like, okay, as much as I really wanted to, and that was the goal, I need to take a step back, and we need to find a different way how we're going to scale the company. So now we're discussing a contract with a specialist delivery company that are based in London, and they specialize in delivering food. So everything is delivered in chilled van on the same day, 24/7. So there is no issues with like scheduling, like when are you going to do it? Because we need everything delivered on a Sunday, let's say, so that you started from a Monday. It was not really possible with other companies. So you know, all the like stuff, you know, the nitty-gritty stuff that happens behind the scenes. So we're in the process of figuring things out so that logistically we can do it.
Cool. So at the moment you're Bedford and Milton Keynes. And then
but hopefully when I'm back from holiday we can proceed and we can introduce it to London, and it's like a Bedford London route. And because we also do the wellness catering, there was just such a demand and people were asking me to do it. I was like, of course I'm going to help, and and I love working with other businesses and people on their events, their retreats, and this approach will help us open wellness catering for businesses in London as well, because we'll be able to deliver it.
Amazing.
So that's something we have, like, you know, in the background, in
the market in London for this.
And
guys, I'll just show you. We'll show the camera. I'm going to hold this up to the camera. So this is what is in this one.
Oh, that's the Thai soup. Sorry, there is no like actual label, but
this is like a Thai soup. You guys can't see it, but
I just
can
love
see
the
it.
packaging because
And it
I
looks
think it's
good.
like, what do you think about the new branding?
I really love
'Cause
it.
You know the old
Yeah,
stuff.
I really love it. It just looks much sleeker.
Cool.
And yeah, you can obviously see the food immediately, which I think is really, really lovely. So colourful. This is one of the things I love about your food. It looks good. You know, sometimes with meal prep, food just does not look good.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. Your food looks good. It's so colourful. You can see your orange and all the like just brightness, which I love. And what I also love about your stuff is obviously I'm gluten intolerant and dairy intolerant, and I can always order with you. I go through stages with my meal prep. I tend to get meal prep. I'll do it for like a month or 6 weeks, and then I stop, and then I'll do it again, like depending on how busy I am in life and
Can
whatever.
I ask you like a question, like so to interrupt?
Sure.
Because you're a coach, right?
Yes.
And I was thinking about it like a lot recently.
Yeah.
So you know when you like set up goals with your clients, and then you need to like create a system for them to be able to reach the goal. Because like otherwise, if you say like, oh, I'm just going to go to the gym 3 times a week, it means nothing.
Sure.
Like you need to create systems in a way. Like how are you going to do it?
Yeah.
So would you say that like meal prep, from your experience, is a good system to help reach like health, fitness goal, like any
100%.
goals? Because once you've got this, like just so much space and time just comes into
100%.
your life because you've got this. Would you?
Definitely. And you know what? One of the biggest factors of why people don't achieve their goals when it comes to health and fitness and weight loss or whatever it is that they're doing is because they're not prepared. They don't have the right food in the fridge. And if you haven't got the right food in the fridge, you then go to a takeaway, or you then go and whip up whatever you've got, or you have something from the freezer. Like not having time and not having preparation is like one of the biggest things. And I do believe that people who are serious about their goals will be prepared, and they will make the time, and they will go and do their food shop. But even those people, the chances of them every week on a Sunday sitting in their kitchen doing their meal prep, putting it in the Tupperware, putting it in the freezer, in the fridge, like it's not realistic. I hate the word realistic, and I believe that anyone can if they really want to, but time wise it's a pain in the ass.
It is.
And to have someone deliver it.
And don't you think that sometimes when you're just like in this, like life is busy and you end up like you had a busy weekend and you didn't prepare your meals.
Yeah.
And then the amount of like just work that goes into it, you lose the willpower then on other things that you're aiming for.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, oh, what are we going to have for dinner? And then you're stressing like, oh, the ingredients, this and that. Like,
yeah.
And there is just so much just like that goes into it. And you only have a limited like willpower like in you. Like it kind of like, it's like a battery, because you like, and
it's so true. I think as well, I've mentioned this on a few episodes before, people, you can only have space for 2 priorities in your life. And I think if you're a business owner, business is going to be one of them. If you're a parent, your child's definitely going to be the other one. You need to fit yourself in there somewhere as well. You've already got more than 2 priorities.
Yeah.
So if you can, even if your health and fitness goals are a priority, the other things are always still going to take over, like your child or how you're making money. And, those things are always going to be so important to you. So if you can make your health and fitness goals easier to manage by having your food delivered, you don't even have to think about it. Like, I'm definitely going to get back on ordering these.
Do you know how much time, like on average, you spend per month, like thinking, like planning, shopping, cooking, cleaning? 55 hours a month on average.
55 hours.
Like imagine.
That's a lot of hours.
What's the price you can put on that?
Wow. I had no idea it would have been that much, but I can believe it.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
okay, so
I always
basically
like
everyone.
to say we are in a business of giving people time and health, and you cannot put a price on it.
Yeah.
That's food, but that's the time, the health, and how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
Because when you get feedback from people that, oh my God, I've been on a plan for a week, and I feel like I've got so much more energy to carry on with my life, my day. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Because
that's what you want.
That's what you want.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Monika. I have loved chatting to you.
Oh, thank you for having me. I loved it
You're
as
so welcome.
well.
We've been chatting for ages.
How much time? I'm afraid to look what time
Hour and 20.
is. Wow, that's a lot.
Just flown
it's
by.
A lot.
No, I love it. Is there anything you would like to say before we close off that we've not spoken about?
I Oh gosh, I didn't expect that question.
I like to catch you off
No,
guard.
I'm just sending everyone, like positive, good vibes, and just I just hope everyone is well. Whoever is listening to us, I hope it inspired them in some way, to kind of maybe just do something positive for themselves. And
Amazing.
Just look after yourself.
Yeah.
Look after yourself, because you are the priority, because you need to be okay, to do all the other things and look for others.
100%. Where can people find you and Veggie Crush on socials, website, all of that stuff?
Yes, so it's veggieCrush.co.uk. So that's the website, and then from the website you can go into either the meal prep site of or the catering side. And Veggie Crush Ltd is the Instagram. So if you're not following us yet, it would be great to
make sure you are,
to follow us and come and say hi.
Amazing. I'll put all your handles in the comments below so people can find you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks guys for listening, and we'll see you soon.